Hello and welcome back together to the weekly update on the financial market. I want to start like always with the S&P 500 index, followed by US oil, gold and Bitcoin. And I have an add-on, a special guest, so to say, with a single stock. I have a trading setup right now I want to share with you. Without further say, let's start directly in with the S&P 500. S&P index on the weekly time frame, like promised. We have an intact uptrend with higher highs and higher lows following to the upper side. We had a secondary weekly uptrend line that one got broken after also a massive rally, and we have seen a 20% corrective move after the tariff announcement of Donald Trump, but we got support here at the last all-time high in combination with nearing the 200 moving average. If we drop one time from lower to the daily time frame, you can see that if you have been able to draw a Fibonacci retracement level from the low of the movement to the high of the movement, you find that picture perfectly the fall down of the index has stopped at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, and from there on rushed back higher to the all-time higher level. We've seen a push, a small retest, retesting the 200 moving average, from there continuation higher in new all-time high territory. Like I said already on the weekly, we are nearing here this secondary broken weekly uptrend now from the downside, and that typically act as resistance later on. So what is my expectancy here? Maybe a push higher, maybe not, directly breaking down this daily white solid down uptrend line from here on. I don't know yet. Then we see probably an ABC correction. How far it will go lower, I don't know. Probably at least to this daily support zone here, marking the last all-time highs, or slightly below that. And from there on, continuation of the overall uptrend. At least that's my view, the most likely scenario in my view. Because of that, I'm already in a long position. I entered right here after this small setback and then a break of the retest to the upper side, long with 2% of my account balance at risk. I placed my stop loss below the last daily support zone to be protective here with my stop loss, and I would probably take my stop loss level to my entry level if I see this scenario that we'll see a nice pullback, and then the pullback gets again broken to the upside, and from there on I will have this corrective move, the low of that, as my new protection level for my stop loss. So I would move it probably to the entry or slightly below this corrective move if it even goes lower. Yeah, where's my target for the S&P 500 index? My target is also based on this Fibonacci retracement level here with the extension levels. So the first extension level would be my first take profit area, 6,680 points in the index, and it would bring me around 3.3% profit into my account balance. Of course, everything can turn against me and we will see fall back down and take out my stop loss here, but I think that's the more unlikely scenario because that's looking pretty bullish to me. Corrections are in front of us, it's run pretty hard, but in the long term, bullish. That's all I have for the S&P. Let's switch to oil. US oil on the weekly time frame as well, and red solid you can see a monthly downward line. That one got broken to the upper side in combination with this monthly support and resistance zone. Since then we went into a corrective move, could develop as an A, B, C pattern. Maybe point C is already in, maybe it will even dip lower, I don't know yet. I marked that one here with a question mark, if that's maybe the low of the whole movement. We have lost that weekly orange support zone here where price bounced a couple of times higher from there. We violated to the downside, went news driven back up, and now are around that level right now. Both scenarios can happen here. Either we see a retest of this low or lower lows. I'm not sure yet how to trade that, but if I find a way, I will let you know, like always in the next video. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. But my favorite scenario here would be that we will see a push to the higher highs, taking out this small violation of this weekly downtrend line to the upper side, maybe something like this, and also break above this 200 moving average on the daily time frame, because that's, like you can see, an important indicator here in the oil market. I had a position open, more to that on the daily time frame. You can see my position that I have closed on Friday. We've seen this double top scenario, a double bottom scenario, then followed by lower highs, higher lows and higher highs. So a move from a downtrend to an uptrend in combination with this broken daily white solid downtrend line. And yeah, also the 200 moving average got broken to the upper side. Now we have seen on the 4-hour time frame a lot of chop lately here, and we had an intact uptrend the moment I was going into this long position. High highs, high lows, and this 4-hour blue uptrend line was intact, not broken. I was hoping it will continue higher from here. Now we have seen a clear break of this uptrend, and that's currently probably a retest. And what normally happens after that, statistically, often at least, that we will break this retest to the downside and continue all the way back lower. I don't want it to be part of that move this way down, so I got out of trade. You can see it here in my account history. Here I closed this trading position in, let's say, break even, so I haven't won something or lost something, and now I'm waiting for another opportunity in the market. If we drop back higher here to the daily time frame, you can see the 200 daily moving average is also an important indicator here. So maybe if we see a break above this chop here in combination with the 200 moving average, we could think about another re-entering this trade, and then also probably with the stop loss below this chop here. But I'm not sure yet. I think next week things clear up if we see this drop or not. I'll let you know in my next video, like always. That's it for oil. Now gold is next. Gold also here, the weekly time frame. Each candle represents 1 week of price action, so it's a long time history. We can see here, starting with 2019, around that area, we can see that we had tested oftentimes this weekly resistance here. Price always failed to break above, but the moment price was able to break higher, gold was moving up only. Small pauses in between, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Supported by the 10-week moving average nearly all the time, except the pauses. And yeah, you can see here also a low. And since then we are chopping around, consolidating here. That's a strong sign in my view that prices after just such a huge run are not collapsing lower into a huge correction before continuing higher, that we stay at that high level and investors and traders are not willing to sell their shares in the gold spot market. On the daily time frame, you can see the daily white solid uptrend line is still intact. The 200 moving average is following. The secondary daily uptrend line, because it gets steeper, is also still intact. We had here an ABC correction marked by this downtrend line, and after a break higher, I was entering a long position too early, like you can see here. We went then from there on lower, retesting the secondary daily uptrend line, and nearly my stop loss got taken out to the downside. I would have lost 1% of my account balance. Since then we are rising again along with the secondary daily uptrend here. I'm not safe yet. The prices can definitely break lower and continue the downtrend, maybe all the way back down to this main daily uptrend line. Wouldn't be a bear scenario for any investor or trader, but for me, I would lose this trade, and then I would have to wait for another entry in the position. Because of that, if that happens, I'm happy to get stopped out and not decline all the way back lower like an investor, and then find a new chance to trade it again to the higher side. But the trade can evolve positive here. We stay in that range until the next cycle begins and continue higher, and then all the way into my take profit at $3,700 per ounce. If we drop one time from lower to the 4 time frame, you can see it in more detail. It went lower, nearly stopped out, then recovery, break of this downward line, a retest, and then a break of the retest to the upper side, building higher highs and higher lows, so an uptrend. so to speak. So I hope that that will continue in higher swings to the upper side and not the other way around. That's it, all I have for gold. Let's switch to Bitcoin. Bitcoin at a weekly time frame and intact weekly uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, and at least a new all-time high. If you would have moved the Fibonacci retracement level from the low to the high, or the retracement tool, you would have seen that we exactly stopped at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level here with a decline and the last all-time high. Exactly like we have seen it with the S&P 500 index. What a coincidence. Or maybe technical analysis works. Decide for yourself. Yeah, the 10-week moving average is supporting the price action here, the new all-time high. We have seen a nice consolidation here before then breaking higher finally to definitely higher highs. And yeah, let's drop one time from lower to the daily time frame. Here you can see where I entered my trade initially. We have seen the break of this downtrend, the consolidation on the 4-hour, break of the consolidation at the 4-hour time frame, entering the market with $1,000 at risk. We've seen a nice push to new all-time highs. And from there on, I was moving my stop loss from below this movement to my entry level and was taking the risk free. That was step 1. And then we've seen this A, B, C corrective move. Then I was able to draw also this daily secondary uptrend line, stop near the 200 moving average. And after we've seen the break above this consolidation, I was adjusting my trade and putting another $1,000 at risk into that trade. So at the moment, $2,000 at risk, or not anymore at risk, because here at that level, my entry level now adjusted higher because I put more money into it later in the trade. So the entry level went higher, average buying price, and I moved my stop loss a little bit below this ABC pattern to be conservative here with my protection. So at the moment, I'm only risking nearly $600 or 0.5% of my capital for this trade. That is already $3,000 in profit, and my profit target would be $133,000 per Bitcoin. Then I will probably take my chips from the table with nearly $6,000 in profit. Not bad for that cycle. If it would end there, that would be fine for me. If it runs further, I'm long-term invested, also fine for me. Maybe I adjust that higher depending on how the price action here evolves, but I will inform you like always in every video that I post every week. You can count on me. Sometimes the video comes 1 or 2 days later, but I think better than nothing. That's all I have for the suspects here. We have every week on the show, but now I will present you an add-on. Let's get through that one. The special guest is A.O. Smith Corporation. Here you can see it on the weekly time frame. We had major declines and major rises, so 3 similar situations to analyze, and maybe we'll find a nice trading setup because of past history evolving again, or similar at least, today. Let's drop one time from lower to the daily time frame. Here marked with the green cycle, the 3 situations I'm interested in. Let's start with the first one, where the decline, where the daily downtrend line, we had a major low, a break of the downtrend, a retest, a second break higher, a second retest, and then after we've seen higher highs above that, a run to the upper side, supported by the 200 moving average. Next, again, major decline, downtrend line, breaking of the downtrend line to the upper side, a retest. Slightly higher high, second retest, supported by the 200 moving average, breaking higher, dropped, but then finally into a new all-time high, bull run. And right now, the situation today, price again made a bottom at the weekly uptrend in combination with the weekly support zone. We have seen here a series of lower highs and lower lows till we have seen the final low, and then higher high and higher low and higher high. Near the 200 moving average, we've seen here the break, the retest, slightly higher high, second retest. If we see now a break above the second retest, we are definitely above the 200 moving average, and the situation is nearly exact like in the 2 before. So historically, that should be a good trading setup. Stop loss below the second retest, entry above it, taking partial wins at a 1-to-1 risk ratio, so get the chips at risk from the table, and then the take profit would be at a 2-to-1 risk ratio, slightly below this daily resistance zone, to be sure that we take this take profit area, not finding resistance before that and declining lower without exiting the trade in a profit. That's my trading idea on this single stock, not risking that much, partial wins, and only in total 0.5% of the portfolio because it's a single stock. And one bad news of this stock CEO, whatever industry, could cause major swings in such a stock, and maybe even over the weekend, and then the market opens with a massive gap to the downside. So I don't want to risk that much. I'm risking more in the indices in my 4 major assets here. And additionally, I want to look now after single stocks, finding good opportunities and sharing them with you. If you like that, let a like under this YouTube video and subscribe to the channel. I hope you have a great weekend. Till next time. Bye bye.